Hello beautiful soul, and welcome to another episode of Hey Allie. Today we're going to talk about moon magic. I've been working with the cycles of the moon for the past probably about 3 years now. So today's episode will cover why to consider moon magic and using the moon cycles for your healing. I have found it to be a very empowering and I can't think of the other word. It's such an incredible way to really work on yourself using the moon cycles. You don't need to really think about what to work on, when to work on, because you use the light of the moon to guide you, which is basically it. So when you're working with the moon cycle, say if you're a beginner, I will cover some of the cycles really generally, and I will be talking more in depth of the different moon cycles, what you do with each of them. You can work with different crystals, different herbs, you can work with different journal prompts, different ceremonies, things like that if you really want to dive deep. But if you are just beginning, the two cycles that I started with is the full moon and the new moon. So your full moon is obviously when the moon becomes full. It's all in her glory in the beautiful, night sky. Full moon is for when you want to let go of anything. So your full moon ritual will be writing down anything that is not serving your highest good. The full moon energy brings to light, using her luminosity, brings to light anything that is not serving you, that you have not dealt with, you have not healed, and it will come up time and time again through this cycle. So you have the full moon, which is around when you work with the full moon, you can work 24 hours to 24 hours before or after when the full moon becomes full. For me to know what part of the cycle it is in, I have a moon app, and I'm also getting used to actually just looking into the sky and knowing where she's at. So if you're beginning, have the moon app, and it tells you the phases of the moon, and I shall write it down. I've forgotten it off the top of my head. So you work with the full moon, and you have certain prompts about what you want to release. And then you do not release it all over the full moon period. It's a time to bring to light what is not quite working for you, what you'll need to release in order to open your energy to move forward into your power, into your creativity, any blockages that come up, thoughts, beliefs, feelings, emotions, situations, people, places, things like that keep coming up every cycle. The more that you start working with moon cycles, the more that you will be aware, this is coming up again. And then you kind of think, oh yeah, it's come, and kind of shove it under the mat, oh yeah, that's fine. Because as the moon wanes and then becomes new moon, it doesn't affect you again until the next cycle. So it's really important to be aware and notice these synchronicities. Actually, perhaps I really do need to release this, or let go of this, or surrender. So full moon is about letting go, and then new moon is, so basically around 2 weeks later is your new moon. New moon is when the moon begins to grow again. She is the start of a new cycle. This is the 24 hours or so of really writing down what it is you want to manifest, what you do want to bring into fruition, what you want to achieve. This is your action stage of doing. So you have the new moon, and you're writing down what your manifestations are, what you want to achieve in your life and your dreams. And it's getting clear. You use the moon phase only to get clear on what it is you truly desire. Then as she waxes, so you have the new moon around 24 hours either side when she becomes noon, to write down what you're wanting to achieve. And then that 2 weeks afterwards, this is really general by the way, and we will dive deeper as episodes go on. And as the new moon, as the moon, so you have the new moon, then as the moon waxes and becomes bigger and bigger and bigger towards the full moon over the next 2 weeks, this is where you grow with the moon. So you're putting into action your manifestations, you're putting into action what you're wanting to achieve. You're putting these little action steps and taking action towards your dreams. And along this 2 weeks, you will notice resistance. You will notice what is kind of holding you back from taking this action, what is stopping you from being able to achieve your dreams. You will also be able to see whether it is actually something that you want to manifest and work towards. So the new moon, which then goes into that waxing phase, is your manifestation, your action steps, and you will notice. Do you see how these cycles can then work? So you've written down your dreams and your desires, and then over that 2 weeks, you start taking action steps, but you notice certain resistance, or you notice things that aren't quite gelling up, or you notice where you're not really wanting to take action, or a limiting belief or emotions that can come up, which then brings you to the full moon, and she fully brings to light everything that has held you back. So then you think, right, what held me back in that new moon cycle? What was it that I need to release? So you write it down, and then over the next 2 weeks, which is the waning phase, as the moon becomes smaller and smaller to become new again, this is when you release, you go within, you can have time for meditation, time for you in your self-care. It's when you release and you surrender, and there are so many different ways of being able to let it go and accept, so that it does not come up the next cycle. Do you see where I'm going? So you can see how powerful moon cycles can truly be. So for example, for me, when I started, I worked with the full moon energy a lot more than I did with the new moon. Full moon energy, I found it easier to work on my shadows and actually work on things that I needed to let go, I needed to heal. And I felt like I had a lot of healing to do. I have had issues with self-worth and low self-esteem. And so working on my shadows and being able to release it became easier for me than working what I truly desired with the new moon. With the new moon, I found resistance because I did not feel worthy of my dreams. I did not feel worthy to achieve any success. So through the new moon, there was so much resistance. I'm taking action and moving towards what I truly desired, which is desire, like peace. You know, being able to go out into the garden and have my herbs and that there for the family, being able to go on family trips, being able to connect and, you know, go and do things that we need to do with no limitations, no financial limitations. And so knowing that and really working on those have enabled me to release and know now my worth, so that when I do work with the new moon, I look forward to now seeing what the moon can show me, seeing what I can work on, what actions I need to take, and then knowing, okay, that's okay. I'm not there yet. You know, I'm not ready to release that yet when I come to the full moon. So it's really, really valuable practice. I have written a small full moon ebook of a basic ritual. You can call it ritual or routine or anything you like to do. Some people don't like the sound of ritual because they think it's quite witchy, or but there is a ritual, and it's basically just time for you. You can literally go outside under the full moon and have a pen and paper, your journal, your paper. There are some journal prompts, and just journal your heart out, whatever comes to mind. And then once you're ready, through the 2 weeks, you can write it down and burn it, or you can put it under your pillow and ask Archangel Michael to please help you release these fears or these doubts or these worries or thoughts or emotions. There are so many different ways that you can use to release. And so I've got that full moon ebook, which is available on my socials and through Linktree, and I'm not sure if I can actually link anything onto the podcast. This is my 3rd podcast, and I'm still learning it. But it is so empowering working with the moon cycles, and so that's a general beginner's one, when you're beginning to work with it. Then when you become more and more attuned to you, you get to really know you in a deeper, most beautiful depth. You get to really know the depth of you, and knowing that you are worth this time, and knowing that even if resistance comes up, that's okay, knowing that it's not you, it's resistance, it's a limiting belief, or it's a thought or an emotion, but it is not you. So being able to acknowledge that and be okay with shadows, and being okay with your light and your gift, and being able to really truly know yourself more authentically, know yourself and present yourself to the world about who you truly want to be. So yes, I hope that has inspired you to look a bit more in. I shall see if I can put that app into the comments here, or the description, and yeah, in the full moon ebook as well. You can actually check out lightanddivine.com, and in there is the full moon ebook as well. I just remembered. So if you're able to, and you want a free copy of that, and the next few episodes, and that is inspired to do so, I will cover more what each phases are, because as you continue to work with the full moon, the waxing moon, the new moon, and then the waning moon, around the other way, new moon, which comes to the waxing, which comes to the full, and comes to the waning moon. As you start working with those cycles, then you'll start working with day-to-day energy. For example, as I create this podcast, today is Thursday, and the energy of the day in the moon. For a Thursday, it's spirituality, meditation, and being able to be of service to others. So every day has a different sort of energetic feel around it. You can do these activities on other days, but when you work with Mother Nature, her cycles, there are days and energies that you can kind of just work with, and they work with a lot easier on those days than they would on another day. For example, Tuesday is a very masculine day. It's a task-oriented day, where I can kind of get up and do my weights and things. And it's get stuff done day. Monday is known for things like going and doing cooking, cleaning, gardening, all those sort of creation activities. And so the more you delve into it, the more you'll be able to kind of fit these things in, and it just helps you go with the flow of life when you're working with the moon cycles. And it takes I don't know where to work on myself questions. Where do I go? Where do I start? I want to heal, but I don't know when to heal, how to heal. Start with the moon cycles. It's such a huge empowering tool, and she's right there in our faces all the time, every 28 days, and it just makes it so much easier, and you are so worth it. So I hope that was helpful. I will check in again soon. Lots of love, and I'll see you again soon. Mwah.